Years in the making. Here is WrestleMania 20, the recreated edition. Of course, a few facts. The event took place on March 14th of 2004 from Madison Square Garden in New York City, New York. Attendance was 20,000. 50 wrestlers participated at this event. Now to kick things off, it was John Cena versus The Big Show. And first, I want to apologize. I wasn't 15 when I saw WrestleMania 19. I was 17. I forgot. I had met my grandfather when I was 15 here in Portland, but I went to stay with him at 17 for a week to see my great grandmother for the first time. So I apologize if people were like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Point is, we're talking about WrestleMania 20. It was from New York City. I did not attend this. I did watch it on pay-per-view though. I remember John Cena versus Big Show. Wasn't a big John Cena fan. I don't really watch SmackDown a lot. I pay for some pay-per-views here and there. Usually WrestleMania was probably the only one I could really afford back then. So seeing this and seeing Big Show had the belt, I'm going, well, what happened to Eddie? Where did Eddie's belt go? I didn't catch Eddie during his Brock Lesnar win. Unfortunately, none of that stuff. I would, however, after WrestleMania 20, acquire the money to afford watching wrestling and by landing a better paying job. So, but if you want to recreate this match, you can do it in basic form. There's the Big Show. There's the John Cena. You can see it right there. It's got the white wrist tape. Mattel is spot on with really making accurate attires from certain WrestleManias. So kudos to them on that one. I know Jax probably has the same thing, but I found two basics that work for me. And of course, they're both height proportionate. Match 2, though, is a big fat new. You do have Lance Cade. You do have Mark Jindrak. But Lance Cade at this time was Garrison Cade. And they were in red attire, matching red attire. And, of course, they never made Garrison Cade. They made Lance Cade. So instantly it's a no because you haven't the right one. You can see right there La Resistance. They're in red, but at least it's red with blue look. I do believe it would be Rene Dupree and Rob Conway during that match. Sylvain was, I think, injured at the time. Or it could have been, yeah, I think that was the case. One of them, I know this is right before Rene would go on and be his own. So I think Sylvain came back, and then Rene would go on to SmackDown during the draft and such. And you'd have Rob Conway and Sylvain Grenier become La Resistance to win the tag belts a few times. But Booker T and RVD, and they tried to match RVD. You can see it's not quite. It looked like they just threw a random RVD in there with some colors. Booker, I think, was wearing black, but they just threw a generic Booker T in there. As was the time. Dudley's, I don't think they might be correct. I couldn't find a photo of them at all in this show to show them that, but nonetheless, these two right here are completely inaccurate, so it's a no-go as far as accuracy. But Christian and Chris Jericho, now that does work. People are fuming over the fan poll vote still, I think, to this day, especially now that he's in AEW, that we never got WrestleMania 20 Christian in elite form. You never know. He might come back one day. I mean, WWE likes hiring senior citizens, so you never know when he gets older and when he's, done. If there even is a WWE anymore in the future, who knows? But Jericho, Christian, of course, now, they're in AEW. You can get their AEW figures. Christian's got one coming up pretty soon. No idea what it looks like. I'm assuming it's going to look pretty cool. Hopefully it's not just a debut jacket or something, street clothes attire. But we never know. But, of course, give Jazzworth a little credit. They, tend to, get somebody on there like a debut look, but usually try to put wrestling attire on them. But if you want to create this match, you can. There's the Jericho with Bad Blood. There's the Christian. I do remember this match very thoroughly. In fact, the VHS tape that my buddy used to record WrestleMania 20, I would end up trading him, I think, an Xbox for all his VHS tapes of wrestling. As I was trying to become a pro wrestler, I wanted to watch it and learn it and listen to it and all that kind of stuff. This was back when I was 18. I watched WrestleMania 20 so many times and fell asleep watching it on VHS so many times when it was recorded and round up. Eventually, the tape just went to a blue screen. The video had just been warped on so badly from watching it so many times. So I thought that was kind of funny, but that was the one I watched their match countless times. Then match 4, you've got a handicap, 3-on-2 handicap match. You got Randy, Ric Flair, and Batista against Mick Foley and The Rock. Now, you can see right here, if you have the Cactus Jack, Mick Foley hybrid combo from WrestleMania 22, it'd be accurate. But and then of course your Batista, it's not quite right. You see he's got the flames on one side, on the wrong side. The Orton I don't think would be accurate. It was just kind of a generic Orton from his debut figure with the newer, sleeker head sculpt. So I didn't really count it as accurate. Of course, Ric Flair with Titantron Live thrown in there for some reason, which was the thing a lot of times. You see right here, you have a more representation of The Rock and Ric Flair from that match. In fact, that was the only real WrestleMania 20 Rock that ever got made. He didn't get a Jack Pacific 20 figure because he'd leave the company like pretty much right afterwards. But they did a Mattel knock out that one perfect with the goatee, and then you had Rick, definitely a lot more represented, but it just is not accurate. Orton's not accurate. Batista's not accurate. Flair would be accurate. Mick is not from that time frame. This is from his Cactus Jack Edge match. Then our first match of the Void is Tori Wilson and Sable versus Miss Jackie and Stacy Keibler. Now I mentioned earlier, Miss Jackie does have a figure. It was created, but it's a 1 of 1, and it was given to her and all the other 8 finalists on Tough Enough. They all have their own figure. It's a pretty generic. I think one guy looked like Brock Lesnar, kind of. I forget his name, but they just threw a head on a Brock Lesnar body with no tattoos and called him that. Kenny, I think, was another guy. They just threw a random generic black body and threw his head on there. They basically custom made. They scanned their face and they made their head and they put on just a random whatever by the numbers body they could find, and just kind of no tires, nothing like that. It was just very bare bones type figures. She may not even have the figure anymore. Someone may have acquired it somewhere down the road. I know someone has Manu out there and a couple others. But yeah, till Miss Jackie ever gets a release, this match never took place in figure form. Then we have the 6th match, and it is possible we can recreate it, but it's not accurate. Shannon Moore has a figure out there in camo pants with short spiky hair. Here he has blue pants with long blonde hair. Ultimo had some cool dragon attire, but he didn't have gold like here in his only WrestleMania match. Chavo is accurate. That's what he wore. He also won the match, which is why that's accurate. Ray, of course, came out as a Flash, and they knocked that out of the park in Jax somewhat, but definitely in Mattel. They had the rights to the head gear and all that kind of stuff. Funaki's pretty accurate. Billy Kimmon's not accurate at all. Tajiri's pretty accurate. Makio's accurate, 100%. Jamie Noble's very accurate as well. Nunzio, I think, was in red or green. I'm trying to think back, but nonetheless, it's not 100% accurate. You can recreate it. It's a cool match. Unfortunately, not given much time. I think instead of doing a one-on-one type thing, it should have been more of like a battle royal elimination type thing. We would have seen way more high flying. But that's life. Now, Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. I know you're looking at it going, that's Oldberg, because the head is the old scan. That's true. The attire, though, is pretty spot on. I mean, he's missing the knee brace, but you can always throw a knee brace on from an Austin if you needed to. You can always switch the head to. I think there's an Ultimate coming out, which is WCW though. So, but I know you can get like a Bad Blood looking hybrid Goldberg Elite came out. You can always put the head on there if you need to. But if you go with the attire, it is pretty accurate. Brock has the accurate attire as well, so I'm counting as accurate. Then it's Too Cool versus APA, the Basham Brothers, and the world's greatest tag team. And it's not accurate. You can see right there, Rikishi's wearing red and black on it, or red decal on his slash or sash, I should say. Clearly, they just threw a Scotty and a Rikishi Titantron live together in the 2-pack. This is this is Jack specific sometimes. Instead of building new parts for people, or they made a Rikishi in Ruthless Aggression style in Classic Superstars line, and it was pretty cool. A little overweight, definitely matched with Yokozuna, so that was a little far-fetched. Mattel would knock it out of the park with their elite Rikishis, but Jax being Jax was like, well, instead of doing that again, let's just throw a Titantron Live Rikishi and a Titantron Live Scotty in there, and we'll call it a day. And that's kind of what we had to deal with for the longest time. We would get some Scotty, Too Hottie single down the road, and I want to say RA15 or 15.5 maybe, with the shorter hair. And then of course you have his 2-pack with Grandmaster, which Jack Civic, they just cheaped it out again. They just basically threw some tank tops or tank top on Grandmaster and some jeans. Didn't have any real muscle definition. Really skinny. I'm not gonna dog on them though. I mean they did what they did, and if it was the end of the line, it was the end of the line. But yeah, APA again, no wrestling attire. Basham's is before they would become Secretaries of Defense with JBL. Their only figures they really got was this, and then they got that 3-pack with, I want to say Orlando Jordan, but they're just in like black pants with the shirt, but they're not in like the BDS or whatever it is, or BDM attire. They were in just like standard black pants with like a jacket or something. More hair on top of their heads. So I used to take the heads off and put them on the wrestling attire ones, and then put some more details on the more bare bones 2-pack adrenaline that came out. And then World's Greatest Tag Team, it was their tire look, but not the tire colors. They had like reverted colors where it's more of a gray with a little bit of purple, whereas this is all purple and a lot of gray. So not accurate at all. Then on to Molly Holly versus Victoria and hair versus title match, and I don't know why nobody gives Molly Holly any more than just this one standard freaking Crash, girlfriend of Crash Holly, or sorry, girlfriend of Spike Dudley, Molly Holly. Not Mighty Molly, not Virgin, whatever Molly they were going with on here, whatever, not Serious Wrestler Molly. I mean, I thought when she came back at the Rumble, she'd have a chance of having like a flashback Molly, but they just don't seem to want to make any Molly Holly figures other than the time she was a ditzy blonde. Victoria, however, this is from her match when she did win hair versus title, so she's accurate to a T, except for maybe she's missing a knee brace, but they didn't really make small knee braces for the women back then. Then Kurt Angle versus Eddie Guerrero. Now, you're probably looking at this going, well, wait a minute, there's some decal missing on that, and it's true. It is a basic Kurt Angle. It is based, though, on his WrestleMania 20 match. There is some deco missing, though. I can understand why. You can see it's not. If you look at this Eddie Guerrero, you see the arm swivel. Those are the old basics. Those are the more detailed, almost on par with Elite, but not as far as articulation. The new basics are core, as I call it, because it's essentially just a core figure. It's all it is. They don't have the greatest articulation, if any. Sometimes when you try to lift their foot for a kick, the boot might pop off or whatever it is. The arms, of course, it looks great. It's a statue figure that has some movement to it, but it's missing decal. A lot of them are. A lot of the newer ones. Point example, Damien Priest. His basic figure is just generic black pants. I understand it's from a time when he was involved in an angle run-in match, maybe, or something like that. But it just looks horrible. And then you look at his Elite, and it's just eons better. But it is accurate. Eddie and Kurt, it's right there. Does the streak continue? Of course it does. WrestleMania 20, Return of Undertaker, basic Undertaker. Not core, but basic. And Jack specific Kane. I just decided, you can easily find a Mattel version as well. I think he even has an Elite of this style. Surprisingly, there wasn't any photos. I was finding any photos of that at all. I mean, of course, there's elbow pads missing on the Kane, but I just used that one. It works well. You could do an Undertaker in Jack specific form. You could do a Kane in Mattel form. It doesn't really matter. Point is, it is accurate. You can recreate them. And then finally, the main event: Chris Benoit versus Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. And yeah, it's accurate. You want the Triple H with the white boots. He's missing a little bit of knee paddage underneath, looks like. You're going to need the Eugene Triple H 2-pack from Jakks Pacific. I thought Mattel released one, but I guess they have not tackled that yet. It would be super sick if they made that into like an ultimate Triple H. I know they just made the Triple H DX, wherever it's going to be coming out in February, which is cool, but I want a Triple H. I know they made the 2000s Triple H as well, but that thing is skyrocketed $200 or more. It'd be cool though to get like more of his almost Reign of Terror type attire, and I think none other than the peak of it would be his WrestleMania 20 gimmick. I mean, obviously Benoit does have his attire, but we're not going to see any Benoits ever again. I'm not going to go into why that is. People who watch wrestling know why that is. And for the longest time we didn't have Shawn Michaels, then I realized, oh yeah, the Series 100 basic Shawn Michaels is based off this match. Minus chest hair, of course, but it's right there. You see it right there. So if you have a great customizer out there, you want to up your Benoit, you can do that. Or if you just want you've got 2 Jakks Pacific figures and 1 basic Mattel Elite, which really if you think about it, aside for the arms, basics are basically Ruthless Aggression done with more precision and height balancing. So really, that's all they are. If you want to compare Elites to Jakks, you have to go with the Deluxe Aggression. But even those I mean, they have articulation just like the Elites do, but they're not balanced in height. I mean, you've got Kane standing as tall as Rey Mysterio in those ones. Big Show towers. Sometimes Big Show gets towered over by John Cena in some of those forms. So the point is, you want to recreate it, you just need those 3 figures. Benoit's, you can find them. Some people buy them to destroy them. Some people buy them to collect them. Some people separate the man from the wrestler, and some people don't. I'm not going to go into it, but if you want to recreate the match, there it is right there. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Custom figure appreciation. I own this figure. I had this figure commissioned to be made. I always liked. I remember when I was with an ex-girlfriend when they announced Classic Superstars 23 many years ago, and Lance Storm was on there, and they showed renders of it, and I just remember doing like a little. I remember clicking a little emoji where it goes like to the side, and then it goes yay to the side, yeah, whatever it was. I was ecstatic. It was so cool because the last one we ever got of him before that was Titantron Live in the Invasion angle, and then this attire came out. Well, they did make a red attire like this, but it didn't have kick pads, and it was Titantron Live. And I thought for sure we'd get a Jakks Pacific or a Jakks Pacific Ruthless Aggression Lance Storm. He might have been the RAs might not have. He might have been gone by the time those came out. I thought for sure though they'll do something. And then Classic Superstars came out. Now it's WCW Lance Storm. His head was massive, and the figure worked fine. But the problem was this is around the declining days of Mattel. They were starting, or not Mattel, but Jakks. They were starting to decline, and before long the arms got wobbly. And then I went to go get another one, and you couldn't find one. Occasionally I do find one that's broken. A lot of times I just use the head and throw it on like a Deluxe Aggression figure. And then eventually I decided to try to use the Deluxe Aggression head, or the head on a Mattel Elite. Realized it was too big. It was just bobblehead, and found Mike Rough Figures, and so he did the Jeff Jarrett. I liked what I saw. I bought the Sean O'Hare from him. I said, hey, you got, he showed me a whole list. I looked at Lance Storm. I said, dude, I want that one. Yeah, they're expensive, but they're flawless. I mean, everything is perfect on it. It looks like he matches up perfectly. You put a Raw Tag Team title from WrestleMania 19 on there. The next one I'm going to have commissioned is Bill DeMott. Spoiler. And after that, I think I'm going to do like a Chief Morley or a Val Venus hybrid. Because these are people I just don't see getting ever released. And since Ultimates are now the top peak, I'm only clicking on Elites if I want a certain Elite figure. But just this figure is just, I mean, phenomenal. And what's nice is they're playable, they're posable. There's no cracking. I didn't see any blemishes. He does really good work. I don't know if you ever bought from him or not. If you have, feel free to leave a comment. Again, if you want to show off something of yours, or if you think, oh, well, that's cool, but check out this one, feel free to send it to me. Send me 4 photos. Don't send me the figure. I'm not taking your figures from you. Send me what you think. But let's get to the stats. You could not recreate this WrestleMania. We're missing Miss Jackie. Miss Jackie Gata. She was married to Charlie Haas. I believe they've divorced. He looks haggard from it. But recreated 91%. If you want, of the 50 figures, Jax has 49 of them. If you can talk Miss Jackie into it, I guess you can get hers. You have 100%, but we're not counting that because it's not mass released. Mattel is only 28, so 21 figures are missing from that lineup, and that's only 57%. The accuracy, though, is only 50%. So you'd think the closer we get, the newer we get, the more likely we would be getting to completing these, but still haven't gotten an entire accurate one. There may not be one out there. May not be in the WrestleMania edition. Maybe in a different edition in the future. Who knows? We'll keep looking. But I want to thank you for watching. Ring the bell. Check back soon for WrestleMania 21 edition. Leave a comment and suggestion. All images, of course, are reserved for accuracy and all rights reserved. Again, though, hit up Mike. Rough Figures. Leave a comment if you want. If you need to get a hold of me about it, if you want to try to figure it out, I'll pass on the link. The guy is open for business. It's low costly, but his work is phenomenal. And every single one I've got, like I said, I can't wait to see the next one and the next one I've already considered commissioned. Thanks again. See you at WrestleMania 21.